But when this guy go, not be me. Now this guy hide the thing. When this guy went to hide the ball, you could clearly tell that he was trying to put it in a way that look nobody else would talk. It's fine.
Who's that Prince?
Prince.
So now you're saying he did the hide.
This was one of the moments I have been waiting for on the show. Yes, aside the Laycon and Erica's conversation, guys, I am one of those people that have been looking forward to the endless drama, the fights, the battles, the craziness, the altercations in the house. And tonight on the Bbnaija reunion show, Ebuka opened tonight's show with most of the major epic fights in the house. And of course, we know the two people who were at the center of it all. I'm talking about Katrina and Lucy. So Praise was asked who he felt was that one housemate that triggered everybody the most, and he said Lucy. From some other person, I think for Tolani Badge, it was Katrina. Guys, listen, before Katrina was evicted, she sure stepped on a lot of toes, and a lot of people, did I almost say toes? Toes! She literally stepped on a lot of toes, and because of food issue, of course. For Lucy, it was all about cleanliness in the house. And of course, to be very honest, guys, from what we saw on the show, guys, those lockdown housemates, they were extremely untidy and very, very gluttonous, because they were just eating. They were not paying attention to the actual reason. They were not focused on the reason why they were on the show. They were just eating everything in the house, and they were failing all of their wages. And I love what Prince said, that it was not a Katrina problem, it was not a Lucy problem, it was a we problem, like their problem, because even after Katrina was evicted from the house, they still had issues of food. There were scenarios of people hiding food inside the fridge, hiding food behind the cupboard, hiding food in the HOH fridge. Of course, Kidwaya did that a lot. So it was a very, very crazy situation, guys. I remember the particular day that it all happened in the kitchen. Okay, now this was the second week that Tolani Badge came out of her observation mode and decided to return the favor of all the boss lady energy back to Katrina. That was the day that she and Katrina were arguing over food. Yeah, so I don't want to talk about how the thing all started, but what we remember clearly and vividly was that Tolani Badge used a lot of heavy curse words at Katrina. Oh, I said what her mother effing said, you stupid I'll give it to you, boys, don't play with me. Even whilst the thing was airing on TV, she was repeating what she was saying. I'm like, wow, you really did cram this one, didn't you? Then Praise actually got me laughing, because this is the same person that we were told yesterday always received the most portion of food in the house, because of course she was Katrina's favorite, she was also Lucy's favorite, and then he was the one that was actually fighting with Lucy over food in the house, and then he was going to mobilize the rest of the housemates to come and fight his battle for him. And to be very honest, guys, I love what Lucy said to him, that listen man, if you want to fight with me, if you want to exchange words with me, come on your own, don't go and mobilize other housemates. And guys, that really sunk in, because we did not hear the last of it. Now the next quarrel, the next epic quarrel that Ebuka broached on the show was the serious lashing out that Ozo dished out to Prince on that particular evening when the housemates were rehearsing for their wager. So they had tried to put together a play. I think Tricky was directing, Erica was the lead, Prince also had a lead role, and Prince had to go and pee, and then by the time he came back, it was actually Prince and Erica that went to pee, but when Erica came back first before Prince, Ozo lashed out. Now guys, if you cast your mind back, it was that same week, that same period that the housemates had their truth or dare game. And to be very honest, I think they've already lost 2 wagers or 1 wager. I think they've lost 2 wagers already. So Ozo just became head of house, and he was really putting in all his efforts to ensure that they won. But coincidentally, it was that same week that the housemates had their truth or dare game, and Prince had demonstrated his best smashing position with NENGI, and that had really, really infuriated Ozo and had made him develop like a rough spot for Prince, and made him not just like Prince just because of that. So there was the impression that Prince was dragging someone whom Ozo had interest in the house. And so that very night, I remember saying that Ozo lashed out unnecessary. He's venting, he's ranting, because Ozo, that was the first time Ozo was ranting and everybody was shocked, like what is really upsetting this guy? So some other housemates, they had no idea whatsoever why Ozo overreacted like that. But for people like Tolani Badge and Tricky, because they belonged to the Midnight Gang, and they would always see Prince and NENGI having their conversations late into the night, you know, flirting with each other, saying a lot of nasty things sometimes here and there with each other. They knew what was going on, so automatically those ones clicked that, oh, so this guy is actually venting out of frustrations that the girl he has affections for in the house, he's not reciprocating the gesture. So Ozo's venting was birthed out of unrequited attention. But then Ebuka was asking Ozo why, if he felt that kind of strained their relationship, and Ozo said that he felt like Prince was a sore loser, like Prince was not always showing enthusiasm or happiness for him or any other person that won in the house. What do you guys think? Then the conversation that Ebuka really had to dwell on, and I really appreciated Ebuka for dwelling on that conversation, was the talk amongst the housemates that, oh, Prince was very, very competitive. I like what Prince said. That listen, this is a competition. If I lose and I feel bad about it, it does not mean that I am not happy for the other person. However, it is a competition. So if you could not take the heat, why did you even come in the first place? Guys, for me, that was spot on. Now, almost all the housemates, they had issues with Prince, always feeling bad, you know, when he loses a competition. And for me, as at that time, while they were in the house, I did not really see it as Prince being a sore loser. But then it happened that this same housemate that were complaining about the same thing, when they also lose, they do not necessarily react the way Prince would react or used to react. Rather, they would gossip about it. I remember for once, Dorothy, you know, she would act like, oh, all was well and good. And then that particular time when Ozo had not been evicted, I think it was the week before Ozo was evicted, when they were supposed to do a flutterwave task, when they were hiding objects around the house, something like that. In fact, to cut the long story short, those few weeks before the show ended, Dorothy's true colors came out that she was actually a proper sore loser because she did worse. Hers was even worse than Prince's one. She would not beat herself up over losing the game. Instead, she would be bad-mouthing the people that actually won the game, or the people that were actually celebrating with the person that actually won the game. It was that terrible. The housemates, some of the housemates who were saying that, oh, they did not really have an issue, you know, with Prince putting in all his best to a task and blah, blah, blah. He made a cogent point. The very night that they had a game, yeah, where they were hiding balls inside a ball of a basket or a bowl of fruit, and they were saying, I think the person that played before Prince was saying that, oh, they should hide that ball properly, that it was Prince that was coming. Guys, they all recognized that Prince was a threat. They recognized that he was highly competitive, and when he sets his mind to the task, he could possibly win it. So they decided to, you know, jointly try to sabotage his game. But then, guys, it's quite funny how hypocritical some of these housemates could be. For real. You're complaining that one person is doing one thing, and then you're actually doing the exact same thing just to get ahead in the game. How convenient. So the part that really got me, that was actually very, very hilarious, was while everybody was talking about why they felt that Prince was a sore loser, that Prince was highly competitive in the house, Ebuka asked, no, I don't think Ebuka even asked Nengi. She said, oh, she wanted to contribute her own part. And then she referred back to the Pepsi challenge. Guys, that Pepsi challenge till tomorrow, I just felt like Nengi messed up their chances of winning, because she was actually paired with Prince. So they had the first part where they had to put the puzzle together, and I think they did well. They did great at that part. I don't know if they actually won that part, but they actually did great on that part. Now, when it came to the choreography part, where they had to lip sync to one of Pepsi's brand personalities, yeah, and their song, and then just lip sync and dance and perform on the stage, that was the point where Nengi and Prince, they were no longer an item in the house. They no longer had a close relationship in the house. That was the time that Nengi and Ozo, they were actually doing this couple thing. Ozo following Nengi up and down, Nengi playing hard to get, Nengi flirting with Kid Wire. You know, a lot was going on in Nengi's life at that time. So she did not like Prince anymore, because for her, Prince was not loyal and Prince was highly competitive. So I remember vividly Prince begging Nengi, oh girl, you have to dance to the song. Oh girl, you have to sway to the music. Oh girl, we have to put up a show. We have to do this. But Nengi did not want Prince to touch her. Nengi did not want Prince to even come close, when obviously the lyrics of the song required both of them to dance hip to hip, bones to bones, body to body, skin to skin. But Nengi wanted none of that. And so she made it very obvious during the rehearsal, and worst of all, on top of the stage when they were performing. So when they were performing, there were so many things that they were supposed to do. I mean, Nengi is sexy. She has a banging body. She would have used that to play to their advantage for them to win. But no, she decided to play the, oh, don't come near me, stay away from me on the stage. And guys, that was very, very disgusting to watch. And that was why they lost. Because trust me, Prince is a great dancer in that house. He was very, very good at choreography. If Nengi had played ball, if Nengi had put her mind to the task and followed Prince's advice, trust me, I believe that Ozo and Trikiti might not have won that task. It could have been Nengi and Prince. So Nengi opening her mouth to say that, when we lost, you were not saying, oh, Nengi this, Nengi that. I feel like it's all loser. Nengi, please just keep quiet and just sit there pretty and keep smiling the way you've been smiling like a lady. Thank you. We do not need your opinion because that's a blatant lie. And the next question that Ebuka asked the housemate was about that particular housemate who faked to be triggered in the house. So some people said it was Lucy, yeah? And then, God, guys, most of the housemates were saying that the Lucy that they know outside the house now is completely different from the Lucy that they knew inside the house. Trikiti, for one, said that over and over again, that the Lucy that he knows outside the house now, when he looks at her, he keeps on asking himself that, so who was that person inside the house displaying a lot of times? You know, Neil, some other housemates, they actually felt like Lucy was a fake housemate. And guys, I remember it was a controversial statement because Lucy was trying to play the card of Thatcher, always confrontational, always ready to give anybody back blows whenever it was uncalled for or whenever she felt like people were not being clean and proper in the house. She was trying to play the role of godmother to Nengi. Oh, your clothes is too short, you're flirting with guys too much, respect yourself. Lucy was literally doing too much. And so a lot of people were wondering, like, what is giving this girl the audacity? And then she also had that same boldness that Thatcher had, like, oh, I'm not going anywhere, I'm still going to be in this house with you people. And people were looking at her like, is this girl really a fake housemate or a real housemate, you know? So people literally felt like she was just overdoing things. But then there were other people like Tochi who felt like, nah, they just felt like Lucy was just being Lucy because people had different ways of handling issues in the house. Then Ebuka also asked a secondary question to that first question about who did they feel was actually doing things for the cameras. And I heard Lucy mention Kaisha and Erica, but then Ebuka stylishly acted deaf, like he did not hear when Lucy mentioned Erica's name. But other people mentioned Kaisha's name and one other person's name. And Ebuka was like, oh, why do you think so? And I'm still wondering, like, okay, please, can somebody explain to me what is actually going on? Because there's so many. Anyways, let me just calm down, Glory. Calm down, Glory, because, hey, I still believe that there are more episodes to come on the show. And hopefully that particular answer that we've all been looking for on the show, we'll probably get it. Basically, guys, tonight was all about putting Prince on the spot because Ebuka really needed to draw out answers from the housemates about what their problem really was with Prince inside the house, because a lot was said, a lot was revealed, but these housemates, some of them like V and Yer, they were still standing on the ground that it wasn't about Prince, it was about the game, it was about the competition, blah blah blah. Anyways, guys, these are my own thoughts as usual. I am looking forward to reading your own thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think in the comment section and I will definitely respond to all of you. I will see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Glory Elijah. An amazing night's rest, and don't worry about my oily face. I had facials today and these are my essential oils on my face. So good night.